Entering the Nightmare Frontier involves finding a way into the Lecture Building, a school of Bergenworth that exists in limbo between reality and our destination. Getting there normally would require us to return to Yahar Gul and find a corpse serving as host. But now that the blood moon has risen, the enemies in Yahar Gul have been replaced with a new, more monstrous set. We'll have to brave the unseen village regardless, but we can put it off for a bit and grow stronger in the meantime. If you picked up the Tonsil Stone by speaking to an NPC after visiting Forbidden Woods, and chances are you have, then you can gain early entrance to the Nightmare Frontier with a little help from a specific great one in Yharnam, called Amygdala. Step to the right of the Grand Cathedral, and descend the stairs to come into contact with two NPC hunters. The first one uses Tonitrus and the wooden shield, the second, the rifle spear and Ludwig's rifle. These two are difficult to defeat if you go after them as soon as they become available, but if you've waited this long to kill them, they shouldn't cause you trouble. Ignore the stairs ahead, and instead follow the path up the cliff face on the left. If Ram is still alive, a Snatcher can be found on top of the cliff, but once Ram is dead, all Snatchers are removed from the game. Drop down onto the landings below the cliff. This puts you in position to take out two rifle huntsmen who can't be reached otherwise. With those two gone, drop all the way down and defeat the two executioners between you and the chapel up ahead. It's also worth noting that there are several scurrying beasts around this area, but they don't seem to drop bloodstone chunks. Pressing forward, step inside and approach the Great One. These can be found clinging to buildings all over Yharnam once Ram has been killed, but only this one can take you to the Lecture Building.
Oh, Amygdala. Oh, Amygdala. Have mercy on the poor bastard.
You awake in a darkened room near a lamp. Light it and open the door into the Lecture Building's first floor hall. Straight across the hall, you can speak to the voice from earlier.
What a joy it is to behold the divine. It must be such a pleasure. You're in my debt, you know. You're nigh on a beast of the field. But here you are, treading a measure with the gods.
The Lecture Building is rectangular and symmetrical, with several doors along each side of the hall. Open the second door on the left, and in turn open the door in the next room. This opens up into an empty classroom, and as you step inside, one of Bergenworth's transmogrified students will drop down from above. Examine the corpse of the professor to obtain the lecture theater key, which opens the classroom on the other side of the hall. There's also a corpse of an unmutated student found in this room, who holds an alternate version of the student uniform. Opening the door on the far side places you back in the hallway. Use the theater key to open the third door from the lamp, on the right side. This room is packed with scholars, and they all become aggressive at once. Step just outside and use the doorway as a filter so you don't become overwhelmed. Of course, it's still important to kill them quickly. Through the door on the right side of the room lies a chest holding Augur of Ebertas. This is the arcane item that fires tentacles from your character's arm, requiring only 18 arcane and 1 quicksilver bullet to use. This item is a staple in an arcanicist arsenal. Lastly, through the last door on the right, open the chest for red jelly, a chalice ingredient. When you're ready to proceed, open the large door at the end of the hall, which takes you to the Nightmare Frontier. The Nightmare Frontier is organic and, like Forbidden Woods, can be difficult to navigate, so I'll show the location of each clip on the minimap. This area, along with the Nightmare of Mensis, holds bell ringer women who attempt to summon invaders into your world. This can only happen if you're playing online and have PlayStation Plus, but if you fit this mold, be aware that other players may invade and try to kill you as long as the woman rings her bell. Stepping out of the cave, you'll find a silver beast at the top of the hill. After killing it, stepping down the ramp ahead will lead you to a more powerful scurrying beast with the ability to fight back. There are countless scurrying beasts in the Frontier, but only these larger ones can drop chunks. Press onward and kill the 2 silver beasts. Then cross the bridge up ahead. 2 hunters prowl this area. The first has a hunter's axe that inflicts bolt damage, and the second uses the threaded cane and blunderbuss. That makes 4. I guess we've killed a lot of hunters this episode, huh? Follow the left wall up the ramp and roll across the gap. This plateau holds Fading Lake, which increases fire defense. Up ahead, there's a massive poison swamp that we'll have to wade through to get to the boss, but skip it for now. Step through the cave on the right and kill the Bellringer woman. Dropping down points you toward a silver beast and the way forward. Through the cave there are several giant children who throw massive boulders at your character. Drink a blue elixir before stepping out into the open. This will prevent the giants from spotting you from afar and make climbing these cliffs much easier. Kill the giants as you press forward, and up to the peak of the cliffs. There's a scurrying beast at the top that leads you to a stone slab. Walking out onto the slab causes it to collapse on the platform below, and serves as a shortcut back to the lamp. Back across the shortcut, take the bridge on the right, and follow the ramp down to the lower platform.
Scam! The gift of the Godhead cometh!
The same creature from the lecture hall pushes you into the chasm below, which is filled with poisonous water. Take a right and wade through the water toward the crawlers. The larger ones can inflict rapid poison with their spitting attack, but you'll probably be eating antidotes anyway from the poison of the swamp. Their appearance is more intimidating than any damage they can actually inflict. Another large scurrying beast is found in the center of this clearing. Within the cave on the far side of the clearing, a final new enemy is found, which is probably the most dangerous in the entire game. You'll have to use the iframes of a properly timed dodge to avoid the grab, because the poison of the swamp and frenzy buildup will surely kill you if it connects. At the end of the cavern, pick up the Messenger's Gift. It's an arcane item that transforms your appearance into a cluster of messengers. More of a whimsical item, better suited for use against other players. Leave the cave the way you came in, and leg it all the way across to the other side of the poisoned ravine. The cavern eventually places you back in the main poison swamp from earlier. Hug the right wall, and set your sights on the giant in the cave at the far side. This cave is our next destination, but there's a rune to pick up first. So take out the giant, but continue past the cave for now, and up the ramp on the left side. There's another giant at the top of this platform, so kill it or simply push it into the swamp and let the poison take care of it. The rune is found on the side of the island, a more powerful version of Clear Deep Sea that has twice the slow poison resistance. Now that you have the rune, go through the cave which wraps around into the second half of the frontier. Make sure you have some sedatives on hand, as another winter lantern lies up ahead. Again, dodge just as the monster grabs, and keep an eye on that frenzy meter. The paths up ahead are made up of several more stone slabs, but serve only to keep you out of the swamp below, and away from the crawlers. There's yet another rune in this swamp, but by this point, I'll wager you have a few echoes, and would like a shortcut, so let's do that first. Step across the stone bridges into the other side of the small swamp. Climb up the ramps toward the silver beast with the torch. Step into the cave at the top, and onto the elevator which brings you up to the clearing just beyond the lamp. In fact, while we're here, we weren't able to collect everything we needed being so rudely pushed into the ravine before. So go back across the slab shortcut and back across the bridge. Our mysterious friend will only push you once. Through the cave straight ahead from the bridge, knock the giant into the swamp so that it doesn't give you trouble, and backtrack past the entrance a little into the alcove with a more powerful clockwise metamorphosis rune. Then take a right from the cliff behind you, where the giant was found, and drop onto the ledge below to pick up Stunning Deep Sea, which buffs your rapid poison resistance. From where I am now, there's no way to get back to the lamp easily, so I like to use a bold hunter's mark to return. Alright, so before challenging Amygdala, let's get that last rune. Grab some antidotes and some sedatives, and jump into the swamp in the second half of the frontier. Navigate to the caverns in the cliff, and wade into the back. There's a third winter lantern to kill here, but this one at least has its back to you. The deepest arm of the caves has the rune we came for, and you'll know you found it by the nest of crawlers guarding it. Kill them and pick up Great Deep Sea, which grants resistance to slow poison, rapid poison, and frenzy. Now make your way out of the swamp and toward the tower in the distance. This is the boss room where we'll fight Amygdala. She is a great one, and you may have heard that she's extremely hard or quite easy. Both are true, it simply depends on how the fight is done. You can step underneath her and attack her legs and arms, which does very little damage. Or you can stand far away and bait attacks which force her to lower her head to the ground. Her head is much more susceptible to damage than the rest of her body, and inflicting damage often sets up opportunities for visceral attacks, which cleave off massive chunks of her HP. This effect can be multiplied by equipping the Claw Mark rune before entering the fight. The biggest fault in this strategy is the difficulty in actually connecting with the monster's head. Vertical attacks like the Saw Cleaver's transformed R1 make this easy, but with weapons like the Blade of Mercy that have no vertical attack to speak of, it can be much more of a challenge. After killing the Great One, you'll receive the Great Thumeru Chalice and a lamp in the tower ahead.